One of the main differentiation of multilateral environmental agreements than the rest of the international agreements is the recognition of the stakeholders in the process. We noticed this in the historical Rio Summit in 1992, and the Agenda 21 has a strong reference to major groups, and local governments are one of these 9 major groups. That was the key to the success of the spreading of local Agenda 21, more than 10,000 communities globally in the 20 years in the past. The UNFCCC also, in Article 7, recognized the role of observers and then the observer organizations. And since 2002, there is an effort to improve the engagement of the observers in the process. But the historical Copenhagen process was a milestone because 40,000 people, the security measures and then the limitations to some of the demonstrations created a huge frustration among the main environmental groups. But the local government representatives, mayors, governors, they were not able to enter even to the rooms of the negotiations. So the whole NGO community or the whole civil society was frustrated in the way they were treated. Therefore, the UNFCCC Secretariat, since the beginning of 2010, decided to improve this process, both in terms of technical, like improving the registration process, improving the online services, but also in terms of improving the modalities, the way we engage in the process, the way we interact with the negotiators, and the way we present our views to the community. In that sense, in June 2010, there was a special discussion, and the parties invited all the interested groups to report their views so that there could be a basic consensus on that. In that session in June, based on the initiative of the local government municipal authorities, the 6 organizations, the 6 constituencies, including farmers, youth, trade unions, the indigenous peoples, they gathered around for the first time in the UNFCCC history to make a joint submission. In August 2010, this submission was improved, so this joint statement was officially submitted to the UNFCCC. Meanwhile, on behalf of ICLEI, we also submitted our own views. We highlighted our experience in Copenhagen climate launch. We highlighted the role that the NGOs are playing, but more importantly, the specific constituency of local governments, which is a part of the government in the national context, but contributing as a civil society into the national process. Based on all these inputs, and then the submissions from the parties, from a diverse group of communities, the Secretariat prepared a report. And this was the basis of the discussions in Cancun. And the beginning of the discussions, local governments, on behalf of the 5 constituencies, had summarized our views, had reflected some of the critics, our expectation to have a better balance in terms of the views reflected there, and inviting parties to refer that the AWG-LCA, for example, recognizes governmental and non-governmental stakeholders. So on the beginning of the week, LGMA was influencing in the discussions. The SBI chair followed an interesting model. For the first time, he invited the observer organizations and the constituencies to join the negotiations, to even invite them to make critical textual revisions, and LGMA representatives made critical contributions. We revised the text, we provided our comments, and SBI and parties accepted our proposals. So this was the first time a positive dialogue was held between observers, civil societies, and the parties. During this week, SBI chair, the chair of this contact group, had prepared a number of revisions of the text based on the inputs from parties and observers. Of course, there was a specific issue, which was the Mexican delegation proposal to have a better engagement of observers and also to ensure that parliamentarians are recognized as governmental constituencies. So this was a unique initiative. LGMA in that sense supported the Mexican proposal, had informal consultations with the delegations, and on Thursday, LGMA made a specific intervention and provided our comments through environment mayor of Copenhagen, who delivered this speech. On Saturday, all the negotiations have finalized. The final text for the first time adopts that there exists a governmental stakeholder in the UNFCCC process, where local governments are the first constituencies actually who represent such a governmental stakeholder position. So we consider this as a historical decision, as a milestone progress in the way to improve local elected leaders and their representatives in terms of their interactions with the UNFCCC process. We believe in the short and medium term, the recognition of governmental stakeholders will have a huge, important influence positively in the way local government views are represented in the UNFCCC flora.